Welcome back to Power Your Life. My next guest is One Funny Mother. Dina Blizzard is a comedian who's been all over the entertainment world from coast to coast. To name a few, she's been Emeril Lagasse's and Paula Deen's warm-up comedian. And she's also hosted the TNT Red Carpet Arrival Show and Miss America pageant preliminary rounds. Dina recently launched her web series, One Funny Mother, which takes a hilarious spin on motherhood. Dina, we're so glad to have you here today.
Thanks so much, Joanne. This is so exciting.
Well, thank you. You've been around, so here's just one other show.
I am. Well, no, this is great because if I wasn't here, I'd be doing laundry. So it's always exciting to not be doing that.
Better than laundry.
It is better than laundry.
Right. So, One Funny Mother, you launched it just recently, and tell us what you do. You write, you produce.
I do. So I started doing stand-up about 11 years ago, and it was always about my kids. It was always at the end of the day when I had had enough of them, I'd go out and start doing stand-up. And I realized that all of the things that had happened to me that day were also happening to everybody else. And so when I would vent, you could see women in the audience saying, that's me, that's my life, that's my husband. Right. And so we started to I did stand-up for many years, and we decided to get into vlogging, really, which is putting up video blogs about what your life is. So my kids are very involved in them, and they don't all love it, but we make them do it, and it's always a lot of fun. But it talks about those annoying things in your life. There's one video we have that's called Cups, and it was during the summer when I realized that I never have cups at my house. They're always dirty because they will take a different cup out every single time they take a drink, and there's never anything for me to drink out of at the end of the day. And I'm just drinking out of like measuring cups. Like I just don't even care. And I just drink wine out of the bottle. I don't even care. But it's really those things that make you so crazy as a mom, and you think you're the only one. And so it was a really great way to just kind of make these little shorts and kind of make fun of it.
Well, I think what's so meaningful too is that, like you said, everybody's experiencing it, so it hits home. And there's something warm about it, and people can laugh at themselves. And like you said, it's not just me. Look, it's happening to her, and she's up there on stage.
It is. That's what's been really nice. I launched a one-woman show a few years ago, and it was really based on that concept that, we're all in the same boat together, and so much of it is a very shared experience about your life before kids and your life after kids. Everybody has those same feelings, and what has become of I can't even remember not having children. Like I feel like they've just always been there. I just didn't see them in my 20s. And now I see them, and they're everywhere. And so we launched the show, and we interviewed my girlfriends, and they all talked about what it was like for them. And what I learned from that was that there's so many stories to be told. And so recently we just started a new campaign called the One Funny Mother Project, and it's about women can go on our website, which is onefunnymother.com, and they can take a survey and talk about their stories and share their stories either through videos or through essays, and really have the opportunity to share them with other women that are having similar experiences. But it's always about finding the funny. It's always about finding those things that make you crazy. One of the things I realize as a mom that I do now is I lie all the time, and I think lying is wrong. I will say lying is wrong.
I hope you're not teaching that.
No, I'm not teaching it, but I realize is that, they ask me questions and I feel like I'm supposed to know the answers to things, but you don't. Just as a person, you don't know everything. And the other day, my daughter had said, "Mom, what are those blue lines on grandmom's legs called?" And I was like, this is so easy, gonna nail it. I was like, those are called varicose veins. And I thought I did a great job. And then she followed it up with, and she said, "Well, why are they there? Why would Jesus put them there?" And I was like, that's so you can find old people in the dark. They glow. And she was like, "What? Grandma glows in the dark?" And I was like, "Yes." And so now every time they're at my mom's house, they're turning the lights off and see if she glows. So
she believed it.
So they believe everything I say, which is why I'm a horrible mother. And so it's funny. It's those things that we do as moms to compensate, and they're not always right. We have mom fails all the time, but when you hear about another mom's mom fail story, you're like, okay, it's not just me. And so many women were writing to us after the show and saying, I feel so much more normal now. I feel like we hear great stories of women being so successful and being able to, balance work and family. And I feel like most women go home at the end of the day, though, feeling like a failure, feeling like it's so hard.
What's so important, though, is it's so wonderful to be able to look at the serious, because motherhood and parenting is hard work.
It is.
And to be able to look at that and step outside of it a little bit and find the humor in it, and then you're sharing it with so many
Exactly.
people.
Exactly.
So what did one of those other people share with you? What was one of their stories?
One of
We only
my
have a couple
favorite
minutes.
stories is that there's a mom at my children's school, and she's just very perfect. Her hair is always done, and she just always like I showered today for this, but normally I don't look like this, and
Not
so
true, not true.
But she always looks like this, and I always look at her and kind of thought, we really don't have anything in common. Like, she's not going crazy on her kids. She's not vacuuming and drinking vodka. Like, she's not that mom. And I saw her, and she had come to see the show. And afterwards, she said, I did the same thing. And I was like, no, you didn't. You're you, and I'm me. We didn't do that. And she said she had her kids in the car, and her girls weren't getting in their seats fast enough and buckling up. So she did that thing where she just decided she was going to put her car in reverse and kind of jostle them and be like, come on, we got to go. Well, instead, it was in drive, and she drove right through her garage door.
Oh, my God.
And busted her door. And then she had to call her husband and be like, listen, this was a good idea except for the reverse part. And so you have these moments where everything seems like such a great idea and it doesn't end up the way it's supposed to.
But that's part of life,
It
too.
is.
And if you can laugh about it, you can move through all of those challenges and all of the hard work that motherhood has and go through it and with flying colors.
Exactly.
And share it. And you're doing such a great job sharing
Thank
it with
you.
other people.
Thanks.
So what have you gotten from this experience?
I think that for me, when I first started doing stand-up, I was very young. I had 3 little kids, and my husband was in the military, and so he was gone. And for my mom would come over, and I would go to the local comedy club, and I would tell these stories. And I was telling them just as my own therapy, just kind of getting them off. This is what happened today. And it just felt so much more relatable to people in the sense that it was a shared experience and that it wasn't just me. So I really feel like even though people are laughing at the stories and I love that it's so therapeutic for them, I do feel like you're part of a community, which is really nice.
And it's therapeutic for you.
Yes.
Stay with us. Power Your Life. We'll be right back. Thanks so much. Dina, you have so much to offer people. What are you and your family getting from all this experience and from One Funny Mother?
I think it's so nice to be able to connect with people about the things that kind of make us all crazy as moms. But also my kids, I'm having these videos, and we've gone back and watched some of the videos, and they were so young, and so it's kind of nice to have this little video diary of our life together and all the things I tortured them with, which I'm sure they'll show their therapist years to come.
And maybe not. I think it's great.
Yes.
And also, laughing keeps you young.
Yes, I hope so. I hope
Well,
so.
take a look
Helps-
at
it
everybody.
helps with
Take
the
a look at her.
sprinkles, right? It's nice.
Yes, well, So, Dina, thank you so much. You've
Thank
been a
you.
wonderful guest. And keep laughing and keep us laughing. We need it. It's good
Thank
for our
you.
hearts and our souls. And folks, thank you so much for tuning in. And stay tuned next week to Power Your Life. Next week, we're going to hear about a man who quit his job to help the homeless running and other stories here to come. Have a great night.